Welcome to Bear Clooney's Watches channel. Thank you for coming. Please don't forget to subscribe and support genuine watch enthusiast channel. Here we are at Bear Clooney Watches studio, and we're about to take a closer look at a really beautiful watch which kind of unexpectedly entered my watch collection. You see, sometimes in the late nights I do a little bit of a fishing on a Chrono24, eBay, and so on, looking at watches and potentially great deals. And this watch stood out for a few reasons, not just as a value. You see, I've been flirting with Nomos from the distance, but I never really thought of the brand that would appeal to me. It was kind of one of those brands that produces watches that I like to appreciate from the distance. But for some reason, their club line really spoke to me. And this watch is from that club line. Let me actually step out of the watch studio, jump on their webpage, and give you kind of idea what I am talking about. Don't worry, we'll be back here to take a closer look at this watch. Here we are on the official Nomos webpage, looking at their club line. That's the line that my watch is coming from, and it is the line that most appeals to me. Now, Nomos is predominantly known by their dress watches. I think the perfect example of their style, which is most common to them and most known, is Tangente. And you can see the typical Bauhaus style of the typical German watch, very dressy. That's some variations of Tangente. A beautiful watch, but definitely not something that I would enjoy. So I ended up with the line called Club, which is also very reasonably priced, and it's a great entry-level timepiece for somebody who will appreciate higher quality watch with a nice in-house movement, with good accuracy and really cool story behind it. This is a watch which they consider to be a sports style. Here we have their entry-level Club Campus. It's a kind of cool California dial. California dial is kind of mixture of the Roman indices with regular Arabic numbers. It is very interesting. The sizes vary. These are 38 millimeter. Very nice, comfortable size. Now we are entering the Club Campus Neomatik. This is reference 748, again California dials. Then there is a club watches which are sporty and hands-on. Here we have club date. These are from the line that is kind of preceding the one that I purchased. And here is the one that I actually bought. This is the Club Neomatik. I really liked many things about it, and we'll talk about it when we take a look at the watch in person. But it is here from this line. You can actually see what are the other watches from that line that are available. We have this very interesting Club Neomatik Siren Blue, and we have another very interesting Club Neomatik Siren Red, which are kind of cool options if you like to add some color in your collection. Definitely something different, something unique. So this is basically the club line. Here we have the Atlantic and Siren Blue and Date Black. The other thing I really liked about my watch is that it's a no date. For some reason it appeals to me. I was very concerned about the size, as this watch is 37 millimeter, but my concern disappeared once I put this watch on my wrist. So there you go. This is the line of the club watches from the Nomos. And I thought it would be interesting to see them, how they all look in that line. I think it's a great choice for somebody who wants a little bit sporty, a little bit dressy, kind of casual timepiece with a really nice in-house movement, with a good quality German watchmaking. But you know what? Let's go to my watch studio and take a closer look at the actual watch. And we're back at Clooney Watches Studio, so we can now take a closer look. And I hope you will understand what I mean by the fact that this is a watch that appeals to me from the perspective of being kind of idiosyncratic Nomos watch, where it almost sits in between a dress watch and a sport watch in terms of both its architecture and its dial design. And I think the reason that I got excited about the club line in Nomos watches is exactly that. It kind of stepped out of the boundaries of the typical Bauhaus dress watch, which I can appreciate on someone else's wrist, but it just doesn't appeal to my style. So this was a watch that is kind of youthful, it's kind of happy, full of sunshine in its appearance, and kind of cool in its design. And that's probably why these sky blue colors and orange highlights are also appealing to me. They are not making this your typical dress watch. The club line comes in various sizes, including 36 millimeter, which is hand wound, 38.5 millimeter hand wound with the date, and 40 millimeter automatic. And traditionally there have been two dial options, one light and one dark. We have options to choose 4 different dial colors and new movements, new size in this Nomos club line today. These club models are now 37 millimeter. And you know what? That was a bit of a scary part for me. You know what? I always kind of stand on a line that my sweet spot for the watches is 38 millimeters to 42 millimeters. My wrist is 7.25 inches. And I am kind of very, very concerned when I don't have opportunity to try this watch before I purchase it. But 37 millimeter was giving me a bit of a hope that it could sit right on my wrist, predominantly because of the lugs on this watch. They're kind of long. The lugs are really standing in a straight line and reaching out. So I was thinking it would work out. Well, you know what? It did. And why don't I actually show you the wrist shot on this watch so you judge for yourself. And here's the wrist shot of this Nomos Club Neomatik on my 7.25 inches wrist. I think it sits very nice. It is a very thin watch, very elegant watch, yet very happy and sporty style. Love the color touch on it. And my fears that 37 millimeter timepiece is just not going to be suitable for my wrist disappeared the moment I put this watch on my wrist. But let's talk further about this piece. Gloves are coming back on. Don't give me hard time, guys. It's not about being pretentious or showing off. It is really about not liking the fingerprints on the watches that I present. And by the way, colors, colors are very symbolic in this presentation. And this is why I kind of put this youthful appearance of the colors on the screen, just to kind of complement the dial and sky blue and orange elements that are definitely contributing to the appeal of this watch, at least to me. So this club model, as I mentioned, is 37 millimeter, and I determined that this is very nice size for the watch. And in my opinion, completely acceptable for the wrist sizes between 6.5 to probably 7.5 inches. So the other cool thing about this watch is how it's slim. It's automatic watch, yet it is 9.27 millimeters, and the case features the rounded bezel that is balanced with the kind of arched lugs. And I say that these lugs are partially what contributes that watch of 37 millimeters is wearing more like a 38.5 millimeters. The dials are classic club with even numbered Arabic numerals, sub-seconds at 6 o'clock, and luminescent hands. You know what? I would say that the little pops of this color is probably what attracted me the most to this watch. Now, there are other two versions, as you've seen when we visited the web page. And if you like to experiment further with the color of the dial, there's certainly some great choices in this line. And when we turn this watch around, that's when we come to realization that we have a new appreciation for this timepiece. Turning it around, we are actually looking at the in-house DUW 3001, which is sitting down in the screw-down case back. This is very ultra-thin automatic movement, and it's made in-house by Nomos. It includes the Nomos swing system escapement as well. It's a part of the Neomatik series, which you can see right on the dials of these models. And it has a 42-hour power reserve, runs in 27 joules. At this new 37 millimeter size, the club wears actually great also, because if you hear one complaint about these watches, it is that lugs are too long in comparison to the case. So by making this 37 millimeter watch, they are still long, but they're actually contributing to nice wear of this timepiece. So there you go. As I said, sometimes certain pieces make their way into your collection completely unexpectedly. And this is the one of those situations. Enjoy those moments discovering new watches, and look at that as just a continuation of the great search for a perfect timepiece. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day. All the best to all of you.